Everybody wants to shine. Who will come out on a cloudy day? You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's not right on, but I'm like, did I steal something from Sly Stone? I feel like I might have stole something from Sly Stone. I don't know. It's just a chord progression, but it's kind of in there. And Andy has joined us. Good morning,
Good morning,
Andy.
Andy.
Good morning.
Okay, let me get our Facebook stream going.
Should I say good morning to you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. God's blessings upon you. Let's praise the Lord together, my friends. We have all awakened in God's shelter. Now we've come to praise His name together. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning,
Good
my friends.
my friends.
Sing Hosanna,
Hosanna.
hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Allow a power, in the sanctuary of our Lord's protection and the stronghold of our Lord's defense. With His love, our spirits are illumined as we glorify His name. Our hearts are blessed. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, my friend.
My friend.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning.
my friends. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone out there in the Facebook land. I see we already have somebody here. Who has? Let's see. So can I? Brenda. Hi there, Brenda. How you doing, Brenda? We hope you're doing well this morning. And good morning, Farah and Adam and Gilbert and Andy here in the Zoom. And unfortunately, Cambyse is under the weather. He's not feeling well today. And so he's not with us. Let's pray for his quick recovery. We always like to see when see when Camby's can join us, which is he's a stalwart. He's there.
Yes, always.
But he's not doing too well right now. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know what? I do say your name frequently. Usually when I say Daryl, I gotta stop you. But I was thinking about how we do things, and I said I never at the beginning tell people who you are. Do I? Do I ever? I just say, do I say how you doing, Daryl? I think I call your name.
Yes, you do.
Okay. Because I feel like I want to say, and this is Daryl Daryl King. So look him up on Facebook too. And of course, because Nene has not been with us for a few weeks now, I sometimes neglect to say that, but we hope that she's working hard right now. We don't hope that, but I know she is working hard right now. So good morning, Nene, even though we know you can't see this right now. And so we're going to start out, as always, with a prayer. And you know what? I have a little printout of some of my favorite Baha'i prayers. I could look it up in the book, but I think I'll just read this one. Let me make sure I choose the one. Okay. God testifieth to the unity of his godhood and to the singleness of his own being. On the throne of eternity, from the inaccessible heights of his station, his tongue proclaimeth that there is none other God but him. He himself, independently of all else, hath ever been a witness unto his own oneness, the revealer of his own nature, the glorifier of his own essence. He verily is the all-powerful, the almighty, the beauteous. He is supreme over his servants and standeth over his creatures. In his hand is the source of authority and truth. He maketh men alive by his signs, and causeth them to die through his wrath. He shall not be asked of his doings, and his might is equal unto all things. He is the potent, the all-subduing. He holdeth within his grasp the empire of all things, and on his right hand is fixed the kingdom of his revelation. His power verily embraceth the whole of creation. Victory and overlordship are his. All might and dominion are his. All glory and greatness are his. He of a truth is the all-glorious, the most powerful, the unconditioned. And this is a prayer revealed by Baha'u'llah. So, Daryl, as we are coming closer and closer to the end of this text,
Oh, yeah.
I got a feeling we're going to finish this before the new year begins.
That's possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we will. But that's a whole nother issue. Today's readings, again, as in last week, most of what we read last week was coming straight from Baha'u'llah. Yes. And we're going to continue.
The same today.
Yes, we're going to continue that today. And if today had a title, I don't know, maybe it does have a title. Does this segment have a title in your text?
Well,
And I mean, at this point where we're beginning?
not at the point where we're beginning, but the previous title for the section is called a ways back. It's called The Advent of the Kingdom.
Okay, the advent of the kingdom. Well, from this point, while I have absolutely no authority whatsoever, everybody knows that, I like to point that out, just for the sake of context, I'd like to give where we're beginning today a subtitle. And the subtitle I would like to give it is The Greatness of This Day. Yes, this day. And you're going to hear those two words and variations of them over and over and over and over and over again. So if you're ever wondering, what is the big deal? You're going to find it out today.
Okay. Just so you know, and what Tony hasn't pointed out today is that we are continuing the study from the advent of divine justice.
Yeah, we always say that. Thanks.
So, this is a revelation under which, if a man shed for its sake one drop of blood, myriads of ocean will be his recompense. A fleeting moment in this day excelleth centuries of a bygone age. Neither sun nor moon hath witnessed a day such as this day. This is the day whereon the unseen world crieth out, Great is thy blessedness, O earth, for thou hast been made the footstool of thy God, and been chosen as the seat of his mighty throne. The world of being shineth in this day, with the resplendency of this divine revelation. All created things extol its saving grace and sing its praises. The universe is wrapped in an ecstasy of joy and gladness. The scriptures of past dispensations celebrate the great jubilee that must needs greet this most great day of God. Well is it with him that hath lived to see this day and hath recognized its station. This day a different sun hath arisen, and a different heaven hath been adorned with its stars and its planets. The world is another world, and the cause another cause. This is the day which past ages and centuries can never rival. Know this, and be not of the ignorant. This is the day whereon human ears have been privileged to hear what he who conversed with God, Moses, heard upon Sinai, and he who is the friend of God, Muhammad, heard when lifted up towards him. What he who is the Spirit of God, Jesus, heard as he ascended unto him to help in peril the self-subsisting. This day is God's day, and this cause his cause. Happy is he that renounced this world and clung to him who is the dayspring of God's revelation. This is the King of days. This is the day that hath seen the coming of the best beloved. He through all eternity hath been acclaimed the desire of the world.
Okay, this is, if you had to say this in a nutshell, and I'm not saying that you can, but if you had to put this in a nutshell for someone who is, let's say, maybe not familiar with the writings, maybe not familiar with Baha'u'llah, maybe not familiar with the significance of the times that we are living in, I don't know. How could you? I mean, these are huge things he's saying here. The scriptures of past dispensations celebrate the great jubilee that must needs greet this most great day of God. This day a different sun hath arisen. This is the day which past ages and centuries can never rival.
Absolutely.
This is the day whereon human ears have been privileged to hear what he who conversed with God heard upon Sinai, that's Moses, and what he who is the friend of God, Muhammad, heard, what he who is the Spirit of God, Jesus, heard. This day is God's day, and this cause is cause. I told you about the conversation I had last night. I won't bore people with it. But that's a huge claim to make to people who are waiting and still, for whatever reason, haven't recognized this. I don't know. Would you struggle to spit that out to people?
Not at all. Not at all.
This is the King of days.
This is the King of days.
He who through all eternity hath been acclaimed. Well, this is the King of days, the day that hath seen the coming of the best beloved. He who through all eternity hath been acclaimed the desire of the world. This is the day.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the day.
This is the chief of all days and the king thereof. Great is the blessedness of him who hath attained through the sweet savor of these days unto everlasting life, and who with the most great steadfastness hath arisen to aid the cause of him who is the King of names. Such a man is as the eye to the body of mankind. Peerless is this day, for it is as the eye to past ages and centuries, and as a light unto the darkness of the times. This day is different from other days, and this cause different from other causes. Entreat ye the one true God, that he may deprive not the eyes of men from beholding his signs, nor their ears from hearkening unto the shrill voice of the pen of glory. These days are God's days, a moment of which ages and centuries can never rival. An atom in these days is as the sun, a drop as the ocean. One single breath exhaled in the love of God and for his service is written down by the pen of glory as a princely deed. Were the virtues of this day to be recounted, and were the virtues of this day to be recounted, all would be thunderstruck, except those whom thy Lord hath exempted. By the righteousness of God, these are the days in which God hath proved the hearts of the entire company of his messengers and prophets, and beyond them, those that stand guard over his sacred and inviolable sanctuary, the inmates of the celestial pavilion and dwellers of the tabernacle of glory.
I gotta ask you a question, Daryl. And this isn't just a question for Daryl. I want to make that clear. It's a question for anyone who wants to respond to it. Okay, today, this day, this time, this age is based on what you just read. This is huge. And yet, there are other places, not here, but other places where Baha'u'llah says, basically in so many words, and yet the people are asleep. They don't recognize it.
Yep.
Again, that's another one of those things. Pardon me, I'm not pretending ignorance. I really don't understand it. How can anyone living in this time, based on what's said here, how can they see it? How can they not see it? Or how can those who have had access to this material, this information, how can they see it and then disregard it?
I think that's a rather difficult thing to do, to see it and disregard it. Because if you see it, then you recognize, and if you understand it, you recognize that you have a certain responsibility.
Yeah.
So,
Andy, I noticed that you made yourself visible. Did you want to weigh in on that? Please. You're muted. Oh, I keep forgetting that I have the power. I have the power to mute and unmute. Okay. Hang on. And my hand is shaking now because hang on. I'm nervous. I've never had this kind of power before. Ask to unmute. Okay. Can you do it now?
Verily I say unto thee, thou hast the power to unmute. The problem is, and Baha'u'llah tells us this in the Kitab-i Aqdas, that the inability for people to recognize the beauty of the manifestation of God is something which is not new at all and has plagued every revelation. And the main, Baha'u'llah explained the reasons for that, but the main one is that the standard that people have of what should be the revelation is shaped mainly by their clergy and people who, by their clergy and also by tradition. And no new revelation respects all of the traditions. And therefore, people will brand it as false, and they will say the manifestation of God is an imposter and seek to put him to death.
I am so glad I asked that question. I'm so glad he responded. Thank you, Andy, because, yeah. I'm glad thank you for encapsulating it in the way you did, because my mind would have never gone there, even though I've read those things too. I guess on some visceral level, I still struggle with it. But, in an objective way, it's been spelled out. You're right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Daryl, do you want to continue?
Yes. Should the greatness of this day be revealed in its fullness, every man would forsake a myriad lives and his longing to partake, though it be for one moment, of its great glory. How much more, though it be for one moment of its great glory, how much more this world and its corruptible treasures? God, the true one, is my witness. This is the day whereon it is incumbent upon every one that seeth to behold, and every ear that hearkeneth to hear, and every heart that understandeth to perceive, and every tongue that speaketh to proclaim unto all who are in heaven and on earth this holy, this exalted, and all highest name. Say, O men, this is a matchless day. Matchless must likewise be the tongue that celebrated the praise of the desire of all nations, and matchless the deed that aspireth to be acceptable in his sight. The whole human race hath longed for this day, that perchance it may fulfill that which well beseemeth its station, and is worthy of its destiny. Destiny is a key word here.
Yeah. The whole human race hath longed for this day.
Yes.
And yet, as Andy pointed out, okay, the day comes and they either often don't recognize it or simply don't respect it, don't accept it. And here we are saying, in the words of Baha'u'llah, this is the day.
This is the day.
And this is a day unlike any other, in again, the revelations of the past, dispensations of the past. This is the day that they've all been preparing mankind for. Now, you wouldn't think so if you look at the news. You wouldn't think so if you, go online and look at all the bad news as it's going on, all the bad things that are going on. But we're told, no, this is that time.
Right.
And it's up to us, each individual, to investigate and, what's the word I'm looking for? Investigate and, give me a word. Somebody give me a word.
Act.
Act. Well, okay. I'll go with that. To investigate and act. And I see you put your instrument down there. I mean, you put your book down.
Yes.
It's not too early.
No.
I'm really the boss here, folks. Obviously, there is no boss. Because we haven't played this in a while, I want to make sure I get the chords right. There was a light shining in Akka. There was a light, it shone all around. A new revelation of God's loving guidance. One holy light, it lit up the night, the world streaming down. So many souls sharing a journey. So many souls seeking the light. Hearing a voice whispering inside them, heeding the call, risking their all to do what was right. But so many tried,
So many tried
to stop it from going.
stop it from going.
So many tried
So many tried
to put out that fire.
put out that fire.
But lovers of truth
Lovers of truth
in this new dispensation,
this new dispensation.
do they found God's love come down, their heart's desire. And there was a light
There was a light
shining in our God.
shining in our God.
There was a light,
There was a light
it shone all around,
shone all around.
a new revelation of God's loving guidance. One holy light, it lit up the night, the world streaming down. There was a light shining, it shone all around, a new revelation of God's loving guidance. One holy light lit up the night, the world streaming down. One prison cell,
One prison cell
made oh so holy,
made oh so holy.
God's revelation,
God's revelation.
there in the dark,
There in the dark,
this Son of Truth,
this Son of Truth,
this blessed beauty,
this blessed beauty,
bringing God's love from up above into our hearts. And there was a light
there was a light
shining in our God.
shining in our God.
There was a light,
There was a
it
light
shone all around,
shone all around.
a new revelation of God's loving guidance. One holy light, it lit up the night, the world streaming down. One holy light lit up the night, the world streaming down. One holy light lit up the night, the world streaming down. This is the day, and
This is the day.
is the light. You know, before you continue, Daryl, I wasn't going to talk about this today, but I talked to you about it before we got started. But last night I had an experience where I went to see a movie. I like to go see movies. I ended up going to see the wrong movie, not the movie I had planned on seeing, but it was actually a movie about Jesus and Jesus Christ's followers. And it was the outcome of it all was very, very interesting to me. But what I took away from it, I won't bother telling them the whole thing that happened, because actually something rather interesting occurred of it as a result of it all. But what I noticed in the way they portrayed this story, the emphasis was certainly they did show a man acting as the part of Jesus, but the emphasis was on his original disciples and others as well who were filled with a sense of expectation and a recognition of who this rabbi, that they refer to him as a rabbi,
Yeah.
prophet, and manifestation of God as we refer to him, how this person, if you want to call this a person, because that's what they saw a person, but there was a special power in this person. Yes, they did mention miracles and so forth. They didn't actually show any of the miracles, but they mentioned it. And what I saw was the level of expectation and anticipation that I feel and that I see in others who look at Baha'u'llah in the same way.
Sure.
And indeed, Baha'u'llah in his writings tells us it is for this day the same thing. He says this is a new sun, this is a new day. It's greater because we can have the vantage point of the past while also being able to, and this is just my words now, being able to look into the present and see the gravity of this moment. And so it felt good for me, at least, being able to kind of put that within myself, put that perspective to what I was seeing, was just kind of put an interesting spin on it for me. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. While you're reading, I just want to take a moment out. Keep reading, please. Go ahead. Okay.
Through the movement of our pen of glory, we have, at the bidding of the omnipotent ordainer, breathed a new life into every human frame and instilled into every word a fresh potency. All created things proclaim the evidences of this worldwide regeneration. O people, I swear by the one true God, this is the ocean out of which all seeds have proceeded, with which every one of them will ultimately be united. From him all the sons have been generated, and unto him they will all return. Through his potency, the trees of divine revelation have yielded their fruits, every one which has been sent down in the form of a prophet, bearing a message to God's creatures in each of the worlds whose number God alone, in his all-encompassing knowledge, can reckon. This he hath accomplished through the agency of but one letter of his word, revealed by his pen, a pen moved by his directing finger, his finger itself sustained by the power of God's truth. By the righteousness of the one true God, if one speak of a jewel be lost and buried beneath the mountain of stones and lieth beyond the seven seas, the hand of omnipotence would assuredly reveal it in this day, pure and cleansed from dross. Every single letter proceeding from our mouth is endowed with such regenerative power as to enable it to bring into existence a new creation, a creation the magnitude of which is inscrutable to all save God. He verily hath knowledge of all things. It is in our power, should we wish it, to enable a speck of floating dust to generate in less than the twinkling of an eye sons of infinite, of unimaginable splendor, to cause a dewdrop to develop into vast and numberless oceans, to infuse into every letter such a force as to empower it to unfold all the knowledge of past and future ages. We are possessed of such power, which, if brought to light, will transmute the most deadly of poisons into a panacea of unfailing efficacy.
Okay, I gotta do it again, Daryl. I gotta play devil's advocate here. And once again, anyone who wants to weigh on this, please feel free to. It is in our power, should we wish it, to enable a speck of floating dust to generate in less than the twinkling of an eye sons of infinite, of unimaginable splendor, to cause a dewdrop to develop into vast and numberless oceans. And of course, you've already read it, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. We are possessed of such power, which, if brought to light, will transmute the most deadly of poisons into a panacea of unfailing efficacy. what do we say to the person who reads this and says, so do it,
Yeah, do it.
do it? I mean, if that's what it takes, and I'm playing the devil's advocate here for a reason. Okay, if you can do that, okay, for that person who says, for those people that say, perform the miracles, do it. What is the response to those people? I mean, this is a manifestation of God saying that all of that is possible. Every single letter proceeding from our mouth is endowed with such regenerative power as to enable it to bring into existence a new creation. What do we say? What do you say to someone who says, well, if that's all possible, but, because I'll tell you, I have friends, and I know that they're probably not sure about where am I going with this. I have friends, and I do consider them friends. And their way of thinking is, okay, God or the manifestations of God have all this power. We look around what's going on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Why not use that power to fix things? Anyone got a response? And I'm hoping someone does. The power is there, but we are the tool.
Absolutely.
We are the tool. Andy, you want to say something, please do. And Suzanne, if you would like to share as well. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. I'm the one that's. I have the power again. Okay.
Well, before I clicked on the button here, you said you brought up one of the major points, that God has the power to do this. And the way that he has ordained that most of this will proceed is by using human tools or agents to make his will happen. Now, as far as the idea of enabling a speck of floating dust to generate in less than twinkling of an eye suns of infinite and imaginable splendor, scientifically, the current theory is that exactly that happened in something that we commonly call the Big Bang. But then a lot of the things that the manifestations of God say have a spiritual significance.
Yeah.
Like, for example, where Jesus was criticized that he couldn't be the Messiah because it is said that the Messiah will come with a sword. And Abdu'l-Baha tells us that that sword consisted of his word, which divided between the true and the false.
Do you want to add something, Sue? I noticed you. Yes. Okay. Let me unmute you here.
Me? Okay. So you were asking about why the bad things happen in the world, why God allows that to happen, why he doesn't just make everything good, but we've been given free will, which means that we can choose to do his will or not to do his will. And he wants us, we have a purpose in this physical reality to develop ourselves and to choose or not choose, what our destiny will be. This world has a particular purpose. So if he made everything just good, what would be the purpose of this world? It would just be him imposing his will on us all.
Exactly.
We'd be puppets.
Yes. And yeah, I'm tempted to add more, but no, I won't, because you've said it so succinctly. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I noticed, Daryl, you put your book down, man.
Yeah, I did.
Because we've come to that time. Now, normally at this time, we would be having our Camby's moment, would we not? Because this is the time where where anyone who wants to share a prayer or a song or a reading of your own choosing, this is that time. And of course, unfortunately, again, Camby's is under the weather. So we're going to start with our Andy moment. Andy, do you have something you'd like to share with us today?
Yes, I certainly do. And since Camby's can't be present, I will offer a prayer in with one of the instruments that Camby's uses. Yes.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
O thou kind Lord, O thou who art generous and merciful, we are the servants of thy threshold and are gathered beneath the sheltering shadow of thy divine unity. The sun of thy mercy is shining upon all, and the clouds of thy bounty shower upon all. Thy gifts encompass all. Thy loving providence sustains all. Thy protection overshadows all, and the glances of thy favor are cast upon all. O Lord, grant thine infinite bestowals and let the light of thy guidance shine. Illumine the eyes, gladden the hearts with abiding joy. Confer a new spirit upon all people and bestow upon them eternal life. Unlock the gates of true understanding and let the light of faith shine resplendent. Gather all people beneath the shadow of thy bounty and cause them to unite in harmony so that they may become as the rays of one sun, as the waves of one ocean, and as the fruit of one tree. May they drink from the same fountain. May they be refreshed from the same breeze. May they receive illumination from the same source of light. Thou art the giver, the merciful, the omnipotent.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Well then, let me readjust our camera here. Just one moment, please. Okay. Well, everyone, as always, we'd like to say thank you for everyone who chose to join us, or even who comes. I'm walking around because I'm looking for something very specific that I should have had here. Here we go. or anyone who comes across this on Facebook and chooses to just watch it, and we appreciate that. We appreciate. We sometimes get responses from people who either express their appreciation or just choose to join us, and we always like to point that out. In fact, we've got a couple here Let's see. We've got Brenda. We know Brenda. Brenda Scott, yes. And I got to take my glasses off to see this next one. Let's see. Joan Hutchins from Atlanta. It's Joan. Hi, Joan. How you doing? And I know we've had a couple of others that I saw their names scroll up and so forth, but unfortunately, it was at a time when it would have been intrusive to say anything. But yeah, we like to say that we always like to point out that this is a group effort, a community effort, and that we are able to do this through the Clearwater Baha'is website. Is called clearwaterbaha'is.org. It's because we're based here primarily in the Tampa Bay area, but there is a Clearwater Baha'i community, and so we come to you through that particular their page, clearwaterbaha'is.org. And I do want to say, we've got just a minute or two here extra, but some of the questions that I was asking, Baha'u'llah actually addresses, and we're going to be looking at some of that response next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if anyone who wonders, well, I'd like to know more, well, then, again, we're reading the Advent of Divine Justice, but also there are other websites that you can go to get more information about the Baha'i faith and about the writings of Baha'u'llah. And what are those websites, Daryl?
The websites are www.baha'i.us, www.baha'i.org, www.baha'iteachings.org. And if you happen to be in the Tampa Bay area and would like to know more, you can always go, as Tony said, to the Clearwater Baha'i website, and that is www.clearwaterbaha'is.org.
Yes. And we also need to point out that we are not the only program that is streamed through the Clearwater Baha'is website. One thing, I always share this on my Facebook page, but they also share this on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, they take the Zoom stream and they, the recorded version of it, and they put it on YouTube so people can access it that way as well. So yeah, I'd like to point that out, and we hope that all of you in the next week, that next week you'll be able to join us again. It's still a little early, man. We've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, we can do the whole song today.
Yeah, we can. There are some songs that I have pointed out this a couple of times. We have quite a few songs where we have readings or from the writings, specifically from the writings, that alternate with sung verses. And when this happens to be one of them, we always end our devotion, our Sunday devotion, with this. But we rarely have the time to do the whole song. So today we're going to be doing that. And I haven't even set it up. So hang on for a second. But yeah.
So while he's setting this up, the one thing that I say every week that I hope all of you are practicing is that if you ever want to improve the life of your life and the life of all of those around you, the best thing that you can do is just share your love. I guarantee you it will make your life better and the life of all of those that come in contact with you. I know that there is a philosophy that says that love hurts, but I don't subscribe to that philosophy. So for all of you, over the next week or whatever time period, please share the love.
Yes. And you know what? You said whatever time period. I know we really need to be jumping on this, but I always like to go back afterwards and see. I want to show you this sometime. We've talked about it before. How many people from around the globe, happen to click on our program, and sometimes they respond, and it's always interesting to see people from different countries doing
Yes.
that. So. How vast is the tabernacle of the cause of God? It hath overshadowed all the peoples and kindreds of the earth, and will ere long gather together the whole of mankind beneath its shelter. The day of service is now come. Arise for the triumph of my cause, and through the power of thine utterance, subdue the hearts of men. Thou must show forth that which will ensure the peace and the well-being of the miserable and the downtrodden. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Whoa, whoa. It is incumbent upon every man in this day to hold fast unto whatsoever will promote the interest and exalt the station of all nations and just governments. For each and every one of the verses which the pen of the Most High hath revealed, the doors of love and unity have been unlocked and flung open to the face of men. We have ere well declared, and our word is the truth. Consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendliness and fellowship. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Whoa, whoa. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. O people of justice, be as brilliant as the light, and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. We beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world yourselves, for the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surrounded you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world-embracing. Let your vision be world-embracing. Let your vision be world-embracing. Whoa, whoa. Have a good week, folks. Hope to see you next week. Take care. Spread the love.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, yes. Let's see, now where did I put the... Here we go. Oh.